Hello, welcome in. It's Tuesday night to Tuesday Topics and Tidbits Live with Wizarding Wands and Mickey Ears. I'm Catherine Ritchie. This is Jennifer McCormick. Thank you so much for being here and watching. We have a lot to talk about. We were just joking about a little potpourri of everything to chat about tonight. So Jennifer's working on getting us shared out to our pages. I just flew in from two of my children's band concerts. So we'll see. Might take me a minute. And we already are having success because I have not bumped myself off yet.
There you go. You're still here.
Third time's a charm. It's like we just started this. So before we dive into everything, thank you so much for being here. If you can, click that thumbs up button. That just lets us know that you're here and watching, and also helps so that we can get our message out to more people. If you are not already subscribed, hit that bell icon. Again, it just helps us and helps you. So anytime we are going live, we are in the parks, we are dropping a new video, which we do every Friday, you have the chance to see that and be notified of that. So thank you so much for being here, whether you're here live or you're watching us later. Please feel free to leave a comment with maybe where you're watching from, or as we're chatting about things. We love hearing feedback as well. So that's kind of the business of everything. So yeah.
All right. Well,
we've
got some big news. I mean, just announced today or very recently. Exciting news.
Good news. Yeah, we should say that. Good news. Yeah.
I'm thrilled about all of it.
Oh, I know. Well, and it's been we were joking. I mean, gosh, I think we text obviously all the time, and it was right before I was leaving and I was seeing more things. So we joke, lots of things come out on a Tuesday. We haven't, the past few weeks, we have not had much. So they knew we were going on a break. So
I know. I'm thrilled. So, I mean, we've got some breaking Disney World news. The Hoop-de-Doo Revue is coming back. So excited.
So I will be really honest about this one. For people who don't know, I guess we'll talk about what it is. This happens, it's a dinner show. It is not, if you think of, a dinner show at Disney, it's not Disney characters.
No, right.
It's not Mickey up there performing, but these characters that are in the show have become very popular in the sense of people, once you go, you love it. And I have to say, I was not sold on it until I went. And then I was like, this is why everyone loves it. It's so cute.
It's a ton of fun. And I don't know how they will quantify the time, but until the start of the pandemic, it was the longest running stage show in the United States, at least, maybe anywhere.
Right.
It's been around for, I think, since almost the inception of Disney World, or very, very early on.
Right.
Hoop-de-Doo Revue is at Fort Wilderness Cabins and Campsites, and it's been around for a very long time. And so, of course, it's been on hiatus with a good number of other shows during the pandemic, but they are officially re-debuting June 23rd. And reservations can start to be made May 26, 2022. So I know a lot of folks are really looking forward to this. I've seen it a few times with my family. It's just a highly interactive, very high energy, totally silly, Western style show.
Right. Well, and I mean, there's I don't even want to say it's like too cheesy. Like it's so cute. And
it's wonderfully cheesy though.
It's cheesy, but not like too much, because I don't like I'll be too much cheese.
Yeah.
I'm like, And I went with a group. We were actually on an agent trip. I was scrolling back today to my pictures from 2019. So that's what we went as a big group, and we're sitting at tables. There's some great videos of everyone who I know better now, like, really into it and having fun. But yeah, it's such a fun. So I think what's great about those is you're seated, either your small family or you're with near people, and the food keeps coming and the drinks keep coming, and you have this great entertainment. So it's a fun location too.
Right.
I think it's a great way to check out another part that you may never see otherwise if you're not staying near there or exploring Fort Wilderness as well.
I know. Well, the food is really good, and they've got great dessert. I mean, I'm hoping, we don't know, but I'm assuming, I guess, that the food's going to be the same. The dessert's going to be the same. The sangria is going to be the same, because I mean, all fan favorites. This is
Yes.
highly touted, a highly touted experience from beginning to end. And so I suppose we don't know exactly what that looks like, but all of it's pretty similar. The menu is similar to what they offer at Trails End. Table service, family style dinner. In fact, I think that I've heard that they share the same kitchen. And so they're still offering, that food, that food at Trails End. And so here's to hoping that everything will stay the same with Hoop-Dee-Doo as well. But I mean, it's classic. It's iconic. Yeah. Lifelong Disney fans know Hoop-Dee-Doo Revue, and it's coming back. And I don't know why. I guess I'm always surprised and elated when I hear that favorites are coming back, because the truth is, when it comes to, having a pandemic, having a 2-year reset, I sort of feel like that's prime time to take a step back, to re-review what's popular, what folks like, and then decide how to move forward. And we learned recently last week that the Spirit of Aloha Lua was not coming back to the Polynesian, which I'm pretty sad about. I mean, I loved that experience. I was hoping to be able to enjoy that again in the future. Guess I'm just going to have to see the luau at Aulani.
I mean, you're going to have to take one for the team.
Take one to the team and go see that in Hawaii. But it's really too bad, because that was a really fun show too. But it's really nice that Hoop-Dee-Doo is returning.
Well, and it's so family friendly. I mean, obviously it's Disney, but I mean, you could take your littles there, but you could take your teenager, who is probably going to try not to laugh, but will be laughing. It's a perfect. Yeah.
Right.
Of course it's Disney, so of course it's good. But I mean, we get those questions too. And we were staying at Wilderness Lodge when we went. So we wore our jean shorts and did our hair in braids and wore our little check shirts and went over and took the boat over. So fun. So a nice activity if you wanted it for an off night, or just to kind of, you certainly could do it on a park day, but there's some options. So we'll know more. So once we know more details about that, but if you're visiting after late June, you can think about it.
Apparently we've got, fan correspondents who will be there on our behalf. So Paul and Stephanie Chamberlain will be there shortly after reopening. So I fully expect all kinds of posts on our Facebook.
That's right.
With all the fun and all of their experiences, because I want to live vicariously. So please share with us.
Right. Okay, good. I was going to say, when I started tonight, I wanted to just say, and hello to the Chamberlains, because they're usually here. So thank you
y'all are wonderful. Thank you.
Yes. We have some other regulars as well, but we appreciate that interaction. So let us know. So again, I think it'll be the people who know it and love it will be clamoring for those reservations, but I think people are kind of looking at their Disney experience a little differently. So if you have been, or you're trying to think of something new, it really is cute. So the performers are amazing.
Oh my gosh, it's just a great show.
And I know the sangria the sangria is pretty good.
Well, and I know that they've had performers and servers who have been part of that show for literally decades. And so I'm hoping that everyone who was a part of it has the opportunity to return. I'm sure if they're still around Disney World property, they're offered first dibs, of course, to return. So it would be wonderful to see those folks back there. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the good news continues. Yeah. So we talked about this a few weeks ago too, just to kind of about the shows at Animal Kingdom. And I know when people say to me, "Oh, I don't know about Animal Kingdom. We have great zoos, or it's just animals." It is not. It is so much.
It's not a zoo.
It's not a zoo.
Animals.
Right.
But it's not a zoo.
It's not a zoo. And so that's just a myth I think we both work to talk about as well, because I think people think that, oh, well, I could just go see animals close at home. You can. It's not the same. And so that is such an understatement. It is not the same.
No.
And I talked about that. I lived in Columbus for years. We have one of the best zoos in the country, and it is not the same. So Animal Kingdom has so much more. Obviously, there's animals, there's amazing rides, but there's the shows. I mean, that is, to me, worth the price of admission right there. I think you agree. We both love
absolutely.
the shows. So we're so excited that Lion King, that performance.
And the Tumble Monkeys are coming back. We talked about that.
Yes.
They are, an acrobatic team that are
Right.
really integral to the show. And now, we're hearing that the Finding Nemo musical has been reimagined,
Right.
but they are in rehearsals now as we speak.
Right.
For this new show. So I'm really hoping that I should take a step back. So the Finding Nemo musical has been part of, Animal Kingdom Park since 2007. So it's been a long time. So now they're moving forward with the story. It'll be more like Finding Dory. So they're moving forward in that storyline. But from, what we're hearing, some of our favorite songs that aren't necessarily in the movies, but have been in this musical and, even in the Nemo ride in Epcot will, continue to be part of this show. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm hesitant because I loved the Finding Nemo musical. Like that to me was very much akin to the Lion King musical on Broadway. Huge, life-size, larger than life, puppets, incredible performers. I mean, it was only about 45 minutes long, only about 45 minutes long, but it was an amazing, fully staged stage show. So I hope that we're getting, a fully staged stage show back.
Right. Well, and the difference too, which with Finding Nemo is when you think of a theater experience, that's more was where you were. So no matter where you sat, you had a good view and there was a big aisle in between and they came up that, where Lion King is in the round. Right. So again, having a great view, but kind of a different feel to it. So, but both phenomenal, really. I mean, you were seeing these incredible performers out there doing this show multiple times a day with the same amount of energy. So again, for those of us who've been there and seen it, I mean, just the fact that a version of it is coming back is really exciting. And those shows also, I think a great thing about these shows coming back, that's another attraction, obviously, that you can enjoy, but it also means that's another attraction more people are able to go into, spreading the people who are already in the parks out too. It's a great break to sit down in some air conditioning and just have a moment as well. But yeah, a good sign. And I think what's exciting too is we're hearing it's coming back, but likely reopening by the end of May around Memorial Day.
Right.
So sometimes it's coming back and it's taking a while or we don't know when. So the fact that it's only 2 months away, which is also crazy to me.
Thrilling. I know. But I mean, they're in rehearsal. So that's about right. I mean, a couple of months and then I'll be back first weekend in June for my daughter's birthday. So fingers crossed. She's got big plans for her birthday. She wants to start the day at Animal Kingdom and then head on over to Epcot and have dinner at Chef de France and then enjoy Harmonious. So that, is what we're looking at as our plans. But I love Festival of the Lion King, but I think Nemo was always my favorite. And so, I mean, the fact that we're hearing that, Go With the Flow song is supposed to be returning and In the Big Blue, which again, I just absolutely love. There are songs that were created for the parks, not for, the original theatrical releases. And so here's to hoping that those will both be coming back, but that would be a perfect birthday present for my daughter, Disney. So first week in June, let's have this stuff back.
Yeah, if you could get on that would be great.
That'd be great.
Because it's all about but we do feel if we put it out in the universe, sometimes things happen. So.
Right.
Just saying. So so that's a good thing. And one thing I would say about both of those attractions, because you'll sometimes, depending on what time you get there, you see the line and you think, oh my word, this line is so huge. I want to wait in line. And they see a lot of people. They see a lot of people.
Really do.
So know that they move the line. It's okay. You're never going to, unless you're really lucky, walk up and you're just cruising in. Right. But don't worry about that. Like, oh, I'll come back later. It's one of those, if you're there and you're going to hop in line, it is so worth it. Don't think, oh, do I want to spend an hour doing this?
Well, and I mean, I think I have been in the very front of the row for Finding Nemo, like one of the first people in. And I like to be really close to the stage, but I also feel like that musical looks gorgeous all the way in back because of the way it's staged, because of the way it comes into the audience. But the same thing with the Festival of the Lion King. If you're really far up, you miss a little bit. It's really nice to have the energy of being all the way in the front, but even from the very back of the theater, it's an incredible experience. So you're not missing out if you are in the back or the front. It's a different vantage point, but still wonderful shows for both of them.
Absolutely. Yeah. So good news and we haven't had some Animal Kingdom news, since the tumble went, but we haven't had as significant for a little bit. Yeah. So that's exciting. Yeah. And then kind of transportation news too. So if you've heard of the minivan, you get why we're excited. If you're saying, what in the world is happening?
Right.
Minivans were, and you're gonna have to tell me when were they introduced?
Oh man.
No.
Before like 2016-ish, I think. Because we, used them in 18 and I feel like they've been around for a while. So 2016-ish in my mind is about when they were introduced, and they are Disney World exclusive transportation that is managed through the Lyft app. And so they partner with Lyft, which is a very, very popular rideshare company. So if you've heard of Uber, Lyft is another one of those companies. I think Uber is better known. I think it's been around a little bit longer. Lyft is another great option. Word to the wise, taking a step back, if you are thinking about taking a rideshare option, look at both the Uber and the Lyft app. I've found better deals as of late on the Lyft app than the Uber app. And most drivers drive for both companies. And, the very last time when I was there, actually for our Universal Studios agent trip, my driver said, always look at the Lyft app if you're looking at Uber, because they don't do the same level of surge pricing as Uber does. So
that is a pro tip right there.
I know. So I didn't mean to digress because the minivans are a big deal. But yeah, take a look at both Lyft and Uber, because you never know where you're going to find a better price on one or the other.
And download, if you're not used to using them, make sure they're downloaded before you get there. Make sure your credit card is in there, because when I landed for Universal as well, I'm savvy enough in the sense that I travel enough, I use them enough, but I was watching them and it was crazy high. And I was like, I'm not in a rush. I'm going to wait. Went and used the restroom. It dropped by like $25. So you've got to be ready to snag it. But if you can toggle between both, and I found the same way. I used Lyft both times. Because so if you're doing rideshare, that's just something to keep in mind. I would say minivan started because a lot of families, whoever's visiting Disney, really wanted that option instead of maybe having to wait for a bus, or maybe they're coming from a resort for a dining reservation and just want the ease of it. They're super cute.
Well, and they're driven by Disney cast members. And so they are folks trained by Disney. We've got car seats available in minivans. So you are assured a car seat. They have handicap accessible minivans as well. So that's an option that can be requested and that will be accommodated through minivans. And so they are sort of like Lyft 2.0. So you do spend, and you will spend more on a minivan, but you can be assured that they have what you need to transport your family.
Absolutely. And they know where they're going.
Right. That's a big deal on Disney World property, because if you've ever driven, it's harder to get around than you would think.
Right. Or if something is closed, there's only so many options, whereas if it's a Disney cast member driving basically a Disney vehicle, they're going to get you where you need to go. Right. So know that that's an option. You'll see them when you're on property, even if you never use them. You'll be like, oh, those are so cute.
Oh, you can't miss them. They're so cute.
They're so cute. It's so funny because if you were with us, it was just last week, we were talking about Rent Disney, and Jennifer was talking about seeing them, and they were just parked. They weren't doing it.
And they were part of the barriers. And so I thought, this has got to be a sign. They must be they moved these vehicles from wherever storage they were, unless they were intending to, bring them back really soon. So,
right. So that's exciting. So that's returning this summer is when those will be an option as well. So I think we also thought that was, a staffing issue and things like that. So the fact that is everything's getting better, it feels, in that arena. So again, another great option that will be returning for Disney World.
I'm pretty excited. Yeah. Well, and they also had introduced airport transportation via minivans. I don't even know, shortly before the pandemic, maybe about a year. So it hadn't been around that long. And who knows, what that pricing is going to look like, but you could package it with your room and ticket pricing with Disney. There was at a bit of a premium, but again, you knew you were getting a Disney cast member. You knew you were getting somebody who knew property, would get you where you needed to go. And, you would have that same high level of assistance from the time you left the airport until the time you got to your resort.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we'll see when that returns, possibly, but for now, we'll take the big step of them returning in general. So that's a good thing.
Yes. Hey, so also returning, we've learned this week, is that the International Cast Program is officially going to restart this summer at Disney World. And so, we've had folks in the parks and in the resorts who were international cast members in the past, but they weren't part of that international exchange program. They were permanent residents or folks who lived here in the US. And so they may have, originally, they might originally be from another country and be native, speakers of that other country, but it's not the official, it hasn't been the official exchange program, with those countries. And so folks who are part of the international exchange program, they are on 1-year visas with Disney. And so we've learned that that's coming back this summer on a phased approach, and that they intend to offer these spaces preliminarily to folks who were part of the program in 2020 or who had been invited to the program right away thereafter. And so they get first dibs. And also what we learned is that they're phasing this in through Epcot first. So we've had international cast members property-wide at Disney World. But of course, Epcot is Epcot because of the international cast who are there. And so I'm so excited for what this is going to bring back to the park. And not that I felt that the park was diminished, but it's just not been the same because it hasn't had the level of cast members available there. But so what we've learned is that the first countries that will return will be France, Italy, Germany, the UK, Canada, and Norway. And then, as the pandemic wanes and folks are able to more easily come from other countries, they will be welcomed back very quickly after that. But this summer, we'll see a good part of Epcot get its vibrance back.
Absolutely.
International cast members. So I'm excited to see that.
Well, and when we talk about Epcot and you hear us, both of our families love Epcot as well. It's not just about, walking through and it looks like France. Like it's more than that. It really is these cast members who are working in all of these pavilions who are from those countries and can talk about it and love talking about their own countries.
Right.
So that just is another level of it. So whether you're visiting just as adults and you want to chat with someone, or your kids, maybe, I don't know about you, my kids had my youngest loved China for years.
Oh, fun.
Years. Just like we thought it was up until I think a year, like was going to go live there. We're like, okay.
That's great.
Okay. But the fact that you could talk to someone and see it and experience it, that is the gift of Epcot too. And the love, it's the people there that makes such a difference as well. Because I'm not going to make it to all these countries. Maybe I will. Likelihoods.
Never know.
Yeah, I never know. That is true. That's true. Okay. I hope I do. Up until that time, I can go to Epcot and really enjoy it as well. And for a lot of families and a lot of people, that is their taste of the world. So what a great way to do that.
I know, I agree. Well, and I was just in Epcot not too long ago, a few weeks ago, and I had breakfast in the Crêperie in the new crêpe restaurant, which is gorgeous.
Which we haven't talked about it either.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we should, because it's really nice. They have more savory crêpe, which out of, I believe, the Normandy area of France, which are called galettes, and then the traditional crêpe for dessert. But it was so funny because I was there and I have this really weird French accent because I started to learn French before I learned parts of English when I was like 5th and 6th grade. So there are certain words I can't say in with like an American accent, but I'm such a poser. I don't speak French very well. I can function, I'm conversational. I love to be, when I'm in the country and hearing it, I get a little bit better, but she's like, oh, you have such a wonderful French accent. She was, a native woman from France. And I was just like, I can only say a few words the right way, but like, it was just one of those things where like, I don't know how to say crepe in American.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think
croissant, there's certain words I don't know how to say because they don't feel right coming out of my mouth, but I don't speak, I'm not a native French speaker. I'm whatever. But it's one of those interactions that you have in those countries that you just don't have anywhere else, in the United States, at least. And then when you go to France, you're like, oh yeah, you really are a poser.
Well, do you want to talk quickly about the food when you ate there? Because you kind of decided last minute, right? To do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, really, I found a very last minute reservation for one person in the new crepe restaurant in the France Pavilion. And that was just added on when the Ratatouille ride came last fall. And so they have both the indoor restaurant, but also counter service outside. And what they're offering inside and outside are just a little bit different as far as the menu items. And so both are wonderful, but they're different enough to be completely different experiences.
Okay.
And so I was able to score a reservation at the very last minute for about, I think it was like 10:30 in the morning, but maybe more of a lunchish type of experience. But they have a whole menu of, savory crepe, and then again, desserts as well. And you can order a la carte or you can order prix. And so the prix included a soup or salad, a savory galette, basically like a crepe. It's hard to explain because it was different than anything that I had ever had before, but the crepe is more of buckwheat, I guess, versus, more of a floury crepe. And then the dessert is, again, what you would expect. And then you also could have, sparkling water, or they had, sodas, tea, or a, what was it? It was a cider, a sparkling cider, as part of the menu. And so it was $33. And I went with the full prix menu and had the cider, the salad, the savory, and the dessert. And it was a huge amount of food. And at Disney for $33, counting, an alcoholic beverage in Epcot and, a rather large meal, I was really surprised. I expected everything to be really small for that price. I expected almost like tasting sizes, but it was something where I looked at it and thought, gosh, I could have shared this with someone.
Yeah. Which is good to know. That's
very satisfied. I felt like it was just really big. So maybe have one person, get the prix and another person just order something a la carte and then share everything all around. And, you'd still have a really large meal.
Right. Right. No, the pictures looked great. So I think, and again, that's when you have to kind of head back there to know it's there. Like if you think, oh, we're not going to do Ratatouille or we're not going to head back there. First of all, they have some great restrooms. So I'll say that.
Yes.
Yeah. And then even, they're brand new and beautiful. We're going to tell you that. But even
the tile work is just really intricate for, just a bathroom. I walked in and I'm like, this tile is gorgeous.
I know.
Bathroom in a corner of Epcot.
I know. So the whole section is pretty. So even to walk back, and it's a great view of the Skyliner. It's a great, kind of step back and have a moment. But that is where you'll find some things. But just walk back there, even just to see even if you're not doing gratitude, just to see the storefronts and the feel of it is just lovely as well. So that's why going into all the countries and all the little nooks and crannies, like we joke about when, I go in and spray myself with perfume or other things. You could skip a whole section. Even just walking through, it just gives, I know it's true.
It's so
I know I'm not the only person.
So, because I know that we don't go back into Italy as much as I would like. And I don't know why.
I know.
We just don't. There's a Kid Cot station. It's gorgeous.
Right.
We just need to go in. I don't know why we just tend to walk past Italy. And there's no reason for it except we want to get to Germany. Or
I think it's usually that's the point. It's usually by that point, you're like, okay, I'm just going to keep going. Because that's the same for us. We kind of do a quick sweep.
because we need the what is it? The caramel kuchen, the caramel chocolate yummy kitchen. The caramel kitchen, I think, is what it translates to.
Yes.
And he
Yes.
has some incredible desserts. But
They
then you've
do.
got the gelato stand now, just right out front in Italy, that opened up not too long ago. So that's fairly new and also amazing. So,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Even without the festivals, there's so much yummy food in Epcot. Oh.
I know. We had to mention it because we haven't talked about, we didn't talk about food at all last week, I don't think. Other than like your banana.
So much good food. Right.
You talked a little bit about your break in between, but yeah.
And then, I mean, right now, as a lot of folks know, the Flower and Garden Festival is going until mid-June, and then Food and Wine usually starts right away after that these days. So I'm hoping to be able to hit both this summer because they're incredible events. And, Epcot and their food festivals, I mean, there's more going on than just food, but there's a lot of food.
My cat just stood and opened the door all the way.
Well, there you go. I mean, your cat wants to be part of the experience.
I guess so. My kids are down there. I'm like, there you
go.
Yeah, so here we go.
There's your buddy.
So I know, right? So I wish I was trying to think of adjectives we could use to talk about this, is that making your park pass reservations is critical. And I've had some tricky situations in the past week, and it's all magically worked out, but that is not the norm. So if you have traveled to Disney previously, this just isn't something you had to worry about. And Disneyland too, I should say that. You just didn't have to worry about this. And I do wish in some ways, maybe they had named it something different. Because I think it is confusing for people. They think, well, I have my tickets, I'm good to go.
Right, that's all I need, right?
Yeah, your My Disney experience is key to set up immediately, and then making your park pass reservations is really key as well, because we saw it's spring break. My family doesn't go on spring break for 2 more weeks. I think is yours next week.
Next week, yeah.
Yeah, and so we're on that wave. Spring breaks last. I feel like they've been kicking off since the beginning of March, and they'll go through Easter week primarily. It's busy. If you go on the theme park calendar, I mean, there's days, Monday was sold out everywhere. There's days probably this week and then even to April where I don't know if there's no availability, but maybe there's one park. So you want to grab them. You want to get them as soon as you can, even if you're not sure what you want to do, because if they're not there, they're not there. And you can keep watching. Certainly if you're booking, let's say you're picking days for October. Yeah,
right.
We're all going to be there. If you're thinking of going in June, you want to get on and do that because things are filling, things are changing. Disney is using this for a lot of reasons, obviously to control the crowds, to make sure there's enough staff, there's caps numbers there and things like that, but we can't make those for you.
Well, we can't magically make availability appear where it isn't. And as I just opened the website, I'm scrolling through. For the bulk of April, up until the 21st, there is at least one park completely sold out for most of the days until, the 21st of April, everything's sold out except for Epcot. Yeah. Maybe a few Animal Kingdom here or there. So if you're deciding right now that you are going on spring break next week and you're going to Disney World, then you're going to want park hopper tickets and you're going to start your day at Epcot, and then 2:00 in the afternoon, you're going to head to whatever other park you want to go to. Because
and that's what I was,
the option.
Those are your options. So I would say that's the key too, is to know, oh my gosh, my park's not available, but I see one. You want to grab something that's available. And then keep watching, but know at the very least, you can park hop after 2. So yes, that might not be the plan you were thinking, but at least you're getting into the parks. So know that, and you can keep watching. Things can change, but you don't want to release that park pass, especially until there's another one and it's a fine line. But just please make them. And it's so stressful.
I mean, the thing is, as travel planners, all we do is tell people over and over and over again, from the moment you make, you get your room and ticket reservation. It doesn't matter if you're traveling in October. Make those park reservations now, because if you forget, you might not get into a park one of those days. I mean, it really could happen. It's happened to a lot of people. I cannot tell you the number of folks that we have seen on social media say, I had my flights, we went down to Florida, we went to Disney to pick up, to go to purchase tickets, and they wouldn't let us in.
Right.
Big bad Disney wouldn't let us in. And I'm like, this has been the case since, parks reopened after the pandemic, but people are expecting an experience, that they've had since really the beginning of time. And you usually have been able to roll up to the parks whenever, purchase a ticket and go in. And that's not happening right now. It's just not possible.
And and Disney World and Disneyland. I mean, they're wonderful at customer service. They want you to have an amazing time. They can't, if occupancy is full, it's full. So that's a challenge. Believe me, that breaks our hearts when we get those nervous texts or messages saying, I don't have it, or it's not there. You just double check it as well. And again, that's why really being familiar with the My Disney Experience site is so important too, so that you know where to find things. So you're not getting to the parks and trying to find things. We have great YouTube videos on lots of things on our channel. So whether that's you're looking at a resort or you want to see what a room looks like, but creating a My Disney Experience account and then also making those park pass reservations, we have videos on both of those. And we both send them to all of our clients, obviously, to help, but it's a great tool. So if you're listening and saying, I don't even know what this means, maybe you don't know, maybe you're not taking a Disney trip for a while, or you've been thinking about, go ahead and create an account. Then you have it. That's your account that you're going to manage no matter you take one trip or you take 10 trips as well. So.
Right. Well, and one thing we've learned too, so if you booked your trip and then you want to make modifications, if you want to make any modification at all, if you are adding Genie Plus, if you are adding Memory Maker, if you're adding a day, if you're removing a day, if you're adding Park Hopper, if you're removing Park Hopper, anytime you make a minuscule change, the first thing you want to do is go into your My Disney Experience account, go to your My Plans page, refresh that page, and then make sure that everything is accurate. Make sure it's still there. If you don't do that, every once in a while, we're learning there are glitches where the system reconnect everything. It might kick someone off. You might have to go in and relink a person in your party because they don't, for some reason, think that they sync up appropriately due to a middle name or an age or something that was different. And, it can, once the system doesn't recognize your tickets for 24 hours, it automatically removes your park reservations.
Right.
But this can happen for any number of glitchy circumstances, almost always because there was a minuscule change. And so anytime you make a change, if you are not booking through a travel planner and you don't have someone looking over your shoulder saying, go and do this, or give me access to your account so I can go and refresh that page for you, usually, honestly, it really does mean logging in, refreshing the My Plans page, checking your tickets.
Absolutely.
That's all I've had to do for folks to make sure that everything is linked.
Right. And you just want to check it. I mean, it's like anything. Disney's great, IT is great, but glitches happen. And we'd like to try to catch those much earlier than right before you're leaving. One advantage, obviously, of using our services too, everything is free to use us. I mean, and we obviously book Disney and Universal and more. And those kind of extra ways of paying a travel agent is already built in. So you're going to pay that whether you go online and book or you use us. And the reason is so that we can help you have a wonderful experience. It also means if something is wrong, we're going to wait on hold for you and try to help you. And you don't have to worry about that. And that, let me tell you,
to call and who to try to get through to. And if we've got questions or there is an experience that we have not personally had as individuals, we've got our network of highly experienced other travel planners that we work with Mickey Travels, and someone has had that experience. And so we are able to remedy those circumstances much faster than most folks can, on their own, because we know this one phone number doesn't work, we're going to call another phone number. We're going to ask the question differently. If the first person we get in touch with doesn't answer it completely, or we know because we've done it enough, if that first answer isn't quite right, and we can say, you know what, can you throw me back into the hold queue because I'm going to have a few other questions. And then back person. Ask the question again, and usually you're able to get at that point in time. But I mean, it's one of those things where, we've got the experience of knowing what to expect and really, who we're talking to and how we should ask those questions and of whom we should ask them to get things taken care of.
And that's why we ask you, if you're booking with us, you're sharing that information to your My Disney Experience account, because that's where we're booking your dining. That's where we're taking care of any of those special experiences, but also allows us to see your plans and make sure you book what we've talked about, that everything's showing up. We get in there and we're confirming everything multiple times, especially right before you leave. One thing I wanted to mention too, in the My Disney Experience account, there is a chat feature, which is really great. Again, if you are maybe booked on your own, or you just have a quick question you want to ask, the wait times can be long. So know that, but the fourth child.
It's easier to do chat and sit on chat if you are at work. If you're in an office.
It is, and to pop on. And I will say, I had a lot of luck this morning going on and asking a question for someone. And I sent the message at 6:45 and got a response right back. Super simple fix. I mean, I've done it where it's been later in the day and I waited and waited. It's a little tricky because you kind of have to have it open so you can see it. But that's just a thing that is another option if maybe you can't call or you want to try doing that and multitasking. So just know that's there, but that's, again, another good reason to use a travel planner. And believe me, most things these things are few and far between, where usually you can ask us a question and we can fix it for you.
Right.
Sometimes if it's something, a ticket isn't linking or things like that, we need some help to get that done. So again, it can usually be fixed, but we just have to take some extra steps. So
absolutely.
Just a little something to keep in mind.
I know. I have to admit, I never use the chat. I am just always the first person to call on the phone. Yeah. I just want to talk to somebody because I never quite understand how far I'm getting or if folks can really understand what I'm asking in the chat. Sure. And so I just call first.
It depends what it is.
Right.
I know my life, sometimes chat has to be the option at times, but no, you're right. It's way easier to talk and explain something too, to say, this is what I'm running into. But the one today, I was like, great. I mean, it was 30. She said what to do. We did it.
Perfect.
Good to go. So that was
perfect.
Great.
Yeah.
And that's the goal of it. That's why they're there.
Right.
Or if
absolutely.
they can't help you, they're going to tell you, you need to call this number, or this is who you need to ask, kind of thing. So, yeah.
Good point.
So Universal, we didn't talk much about Universal last week. Didn't have too much. So I will say, this is not Jennifer and my favorite event. We like Halloween. We like Halloween. I don't like anything scary.
Overly scary. Yeah.
Or violent. That's just me. So, probably why I like Disney.
But lots Halloween of people do.
Night. Yeah. Halloween Horror Night, which has a cult following.
Absolutely.
Very popular. There are people who travel to Orlando for this sole reason. Announced that they have select nights between September 2nd and October 31st of this year. So pretty much every night other than Mondays and Tuesdays. And this is a special ticketed event. What would you say? Ages like 13 and over.
I don't know. How old am I? Older than me.
I feel like 44 and over, maybe.
Right. No, can't be squeamish. And they have a very scary, haunted houses that you go into, and there are folks, lurking through the parks and things like that. So not for my sensibilities because I'm a wimp, but I know a lot of folks who absolutely love this environment. They would love to cosplay along. This is their deal. And I love Halloween. I don't like to be scared.
I know, that's probably ironic when I say I like Halloween, because most people think it's like scared.
Right. No, I like to be a little scared, but I don't like to think that I'm going to be maimed.
Yes. So we were in Universal, and we were having that training, and that question came up of what age is appropriate. And again, for the Halloween Horror Nights, like what age should I take? And I think it's always discretion. What I always say is that movie ratings have a rating for a reason. Some people go with that, some don't. I mean, your family, what you like, but it is I really think it's more an adult experience. It's
definitely.
It's geared towards Again, it is scary. It is meant to be scary. It is amazing performers. I mean, they go all out. So if that is something you're interested in, we can help you with that, or you want to add that to your vacation. We just will never be live streaming.
Probably not.
We're happy if you want to share some things, but we're probably not going to be.
I maybe I could go in as long as I know. And I mean, I know this in my brain, they can't touch you. That's not part of the experience, but I've been in plenty of Halloween experiences where I am completely intimidated by these performers. They are intense and wonderful and talented. And
absolutely.
I'm in awe of what they can do. I couldn't do that without breaking character. And in the moment, I'm a wimp. I'm a big so, for me.
No. And when we were there too, what I thought was that because we were there during Mardi Gras, we got to be part of the parade, the performers that were in the parade walking on stilts,
incredible
costumes. And I mean, it's a totally different feel than a Disney parade, of course.
Right.
So it really does have that electric atmosphere to it. And I think that's that same feeling for these horror nights, is that it's immersive. There's obviously people who love that, who come, just love it. So that is open. I mean, it's hard to believe fall is only a few months away. So if you're thinking about that, I can't imagine what it's like there on Halloween night.
Oh my gosh. Well, and now is the time to start planning fall too. I know a lot of folks wait a little bit, but fall and, for some dates summer is really booking. If you are looking for a summer trip now, just get everything booked now. Disney, Universal, you want to have that on the books. Your options are booking up. They are.
I mean, even for Universal, I was seeing too, because I was working with a family that is doing Universal and Disney, and then doing some beach time as well. And right now I'm someone who I just only give me two options. That's all I can pick from. But Disney had more obviously than Universal too, as to what they were looking for. But if you're thinking about it, especially for Disney, like we talked about park passes or before dining reservations open, things like that. But even into fall, there's people thinking about a fall trip already and looking into those dates.
Ton. I can't tell you how much interest I've gotten for fall. Even in the past week, it's incredible. So if you've got a fall break, those fall break dates, I'll tell you what. Well, okay. So again, all that talk about Run Disney last week, and it was running in my head. And I thought, what the heck? We're going to be there for the Disney Wish. We're sailing on the Disney Wish for we
are together.
Event. So we're sailing together as roommates. And the weekend before that is the Wine and Dine half marathon weekend. And of course, that opened last week. We were talking about it on Tuesday, and I kept thinking about it, and I registered. So I'm going down, and of course, this is totally unplanned and not in my budget to have all this extra time. And so I was looking for Pop Century, which is my favorite value resort, totally sold out that weekend already. 100% sold out. You can't get a room at Pop Century. So I'm not staying at Pop Century. But I mean, this is November, first week in November, Pop Century value resort, completely 100% sold out already for that weekend.
Yeah. Well, that's something to think about. Maybe you're not, Jennifer was very inspiring last week on Disney, but I have not signed up for a race yet. Don't worry. It'll be breaking news. It'll be its own post.
We'll do the Castaway 5K together.
That will do. I'll do that. We'll live stream that one. We'll get someone to keep us. That I'm on board with that. But you could be thinking about that too, that there are these special events happening. So, maybe a weekend that works for you. Well, if it's a race weekend or things like that, that does knock out some options as well.
Yeah. You've got Jersey Week. You've got the standard fall break. We've got a fall break here in October. A lot of folks are asking about, and that pricing has gone up. The standard location rooms, that week are already mostly sold out, if not entirely sold out. I think. So I've been looking at our MEA, the Minnesota Educators Association weekend is around the 20th, 21st, 22nd of October. And already I think Caribbean Beach is 100% sold out already for those dates. And so there are some resorts that are totally booked already because it's a really popular fall break, not just for us, obviously in Minnesota, but lots of the US, lots of folks are traveling that week. And so I've been finding best availability first week in October, last week in October. sometimes the week before Thanksgiving, but not for everything. So fall is really booking up.
It is. So again, we can do free quotes. There's no commitment to like just exploring some dates and seeing what's out there, maybe putting a hold in place and seeing what might work flight wise and things like that. But it's just never too early to think about that. So
and your $200 deposit. So I mean, at Disney, that your deposit is $200 and it's completely refundable. At Universal, it's $50 per person, completely refundable before the final payment date. And those vary a little bit between Universal and Disney, but putting down a deposit doesn't hurt because at least you've got your first choice secured. And then you can always change your mind. We can modify, you can cancel, you're fine. So it's important to keep an eye on those things.
Absolutely. So just a little bit of water park news, which we always like to talk about that too. So that's a good thing. So Typhoon Lagoon H2O Glow Nights, which is considered an after-hours event. Disney has 2 water parks, Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon. So this is held on Saturday nights this summer. So between May 28th and August 27th, it's 8 to 11 at night. But you can actually enter the park starting at 6 for this event. So similar to the Disney kind of special events and for the previous parties, you could get in a little bit sooner, which is nice. Right. So that's 2 kind of bonus hours as well. Ice cream treats, popcorn, beverages. Sounds kind of fun. Nice way.
I know we are thinking about going to that last event because we'll be in town for that. And I've gone before, and the kids and I have had the opportunity to go. And it's just, there's something different about the water parks at night in the dark, with the lights and of course the novelty treats, and kids are a big deal, but I'm never going to say no to a Mickey bar. No. But I mean, the pricing includes novelty ice cream treats, popcorn, bottled sodas and beverages and things like that, which is, really nice to have. And the pricing for adults is $75 plus tax. For kids, it's $70 plus tax. And so, I mean, it is a good chunk of change, but, from 6 p.m. until 11 p.m., that's also a really nice time to be in the water parks. The water parks tend to close fairly early. And so, in most cases, people are filtering out by about 5 o'clock anyhow. And so you pretty much have an empty water park with some fun additional, they'll have like DJs and fun games happening that wouldn't normally be happening later on in the day. It's a nice experience. And especially if you are not normally going to go to the water park all day, but you'd like to have a little bit of that experience, this is a fun event. And it includes a lot of the treats that you'd probably be paying for anyhow. So in the grand scheme of things, in a lot of cases, at least with my family, I know that this is less than what we would end up doing, after when all is said and done for the water park ticket and the treats that we would normally be buying.
I'm relatively frugal, but I always think about those things like, okay, well, if I was spending $4 for a drink and then, you add up all those things, I'm like, oh, well, that's like the ticket's only really half price. And then you can eat your weight in popcorn and Mickey bars.
Then you have to buy them the rest of your trip because you already ate them all.
And Mickey bars are the messiest things ever. So the fact that you could just like rinse off is kind of nice. But no, it's true. You can take a few drinks with you. I don't eat them. So I'm okay. I'm just saying. Like I was looking through, actually it was the pictures I was looking for Hoopty-Doo to post today. And one of the pictures was an old memory of my 3 kids on a bench eating Mickey bars. I think I made them wait until the nighttime.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
Thank you. So not a recent photo, that's for sure. So yeah. So that's something, again, we can help get booked, or if you're thinking about adding a water park to your visit, really fun way, both at Universal and Disney, to have that escape, especially if you're visiting in the summer. Perfect time, but you can really enjoy the water parks a lot longer.
Absolutely.
A lot than you would typically think as well.
I know. And again, for even for folks who say, well, I'm not really a water park person.
Right.
Typhoon Lagoon, I love because it's like wave pool on steroids.
That wave pool is a workout.
Probably never seen a wave pool like this before in your life. Like you think wave pool and then you see Typhoon Lagoon. There's nothing like it.
And let me just say, this is my PSA, is just watch it the first time. Like, don't just go in. It is so strong, even if you're sitting in water.
Oh, you're going to get knocked over. In fact, it's safer further into the water than like if you're far back, you are totally getting raked over.
Oh, that was me. And it is not a smooth floor.
To be further in the water and you just want to be totally knocked over.
It happens to you.
Don't even think of wearing sunglasses because those suckers, they're disappearing. They're gone.
And you do. Once it happens to you, you just want to yell to everyone, be like, just watch, like, just run. But it is entertaining. You're right, the further in. But if you have kids that, even if they're good swimmers, I mean, teens, I mean, you'll see people out there. I know it's a high school friend, actually, they live down there as well for the year, and he's a college swimmer. So they'll go all the time, but you'll see the really good swimmers.
My gosh.
Swim in or ride the waves. Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're not a good swimmer, wear a life vest. Just wear a life vest.
Yeah. And just don't, I'm just telling you, just watch it the first few times. It's amazing. It is so fun though, but I mean, it is huge. It reminds me of a Universal, that crazy, it has a name, obviously, lazy river that goes so fast.
Oh, what is it? Kawa? The Action River. The Action River is awesome. The Action River
is amazing, but again, hadn't been to Volcano Bay, was not ready. And we were laughing so hard because we were going so fast. And then all of a sudden, I mean, it is hilarious, but very fun. So
and you have to wear a life vest there too.
Yeah. That one you have to, but oh my gosh, so much fun.
Teawa.
And I'm not a water park person. I'm not, but there's times when it's appropriate.
That's it. And I mean, with Typhoon Lagoon, you just have to learn how to ride the wave. Like, let it happen. The more you fight it, the more you're drowning. If you are just like, I'm going to ride this wave, then you're good to go. And then you can head back, where you were. But if
there are lifeguards everywhere, they're watching you like a hawk. So that is a good thing as well.
Right. Yeah. But the glow nights, they're a lot of fun. If you remotely like water parks, if that's, an environment, you just want to be at a water park at night, I think it's a blast. I highly recommend it. We had a lot of fun there when I went with my kids. So I would totally do it again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, good. We kind of flew through there was a lot of news and
there was a lot of news.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's so late already. How did that happen?
We clearly just were really excited to chat. Yeah. So we kind of mentioned at the beginning, Jennifer is going on spring break and she's going on a Disney cruise. When do you leave?
We'll be on the Disney Magic. So we are flying out on Friday and we will board the Disney Magic on Saturday. I mean, if all goes well, I guess everyone still has a test. Have a COVID test at Fort, but we've done COVID tests at home. We're good to go. So, so we've been wearing masks everywhere we go, just in case. But we'll be boarding the Disney Magic on Saturday, the 2nd, and then we will be on the Magic for 5 nights. And so we'll fly home the evening of the 7th. So I'm really looking forward to it. We'll have 2 days at sea, which will be fun because the last time I was on the Magic, we had 1 day at sea. It's a great ship. It's just, I don't know. For me, there's always so much to do on a Disney ship that I think I'm going to go on and get everything done that I want to do. And I have to see the Broadway shows. And I love the trivia. Table service dining is great. I want to do the rainforest room in the spa. I mean, and then I barely get on the slides. I barely get on the pool deck. Like I never have time for any of those things. So I'm happy that we'll have 2 days at sea. So maybe, I can do the drop slide once or twice or, hang out on the adult area of the ship and, have some hot tub time or whatever. But we'll see.
Absolutely. So you can look for a lot of Disney cruise content and we'll be chatting about that. So Jennifer's gone, but I'll be posting while she's gone, while she has a break.
And I'll try to post too, as much as I can.
You will. You did a good, I'm sure you will. Yeah, you did a lot of what's happening. You're going to enjoy yourself too. You're going to do both.
Right.
And then I'm on spring break with my family. So we are a baseball family, as I've mentioned. So we will be watching the varsity team down in Myrtle Beach for a week.
That's so exciting. That'll be great.
So that is where our spring break will be for the next
Yeah.
few years, but that's where I'll be. So we'll be off for the next 2 weeks from lives, but we'll obviously still be posting, and if you know how to find us, then we'll be sharing lots of things as well. And then we'll be back the following week, recapping a lot, but focusing on Disney Cruise Line.
Right. So that'll be the week of the 18th. So we'll be back on April 19th, but we've got the 5th and the 12th that will be off. So again, keep an eye on the Wizarding Wands and Mickey Ears Facebook group, I think is, where I tend to post the most. I'm also working really hard on TikTok. So keep an eye on.
I know we've got to get it. We have all these teenagers between us. We've got to get.
I know my kids will like stuff, but they won't actually post for me.
My kids do. So
I need to get my kids to post for me a little bit more. So, and then, Mom, you're so old. Well, I know. That's what I am.
That's why yeah, I know.
But I mean, we've got so much. I always go in with so many ideas on things I'd like to try to get video of. And then, in the moment, there's only so much that you can do. So I've got plenty of ideas, but there will definitely be oodles of pictures, especially food pictures.
Yes.
Because food always makes me happy.
No, I know. No, you kind of take us right there, which is great.
I don't make beautiful food at home, so I get really excited when I see beautiful food on vacation. So
yeah,
that's not what I'm eating when I'm in the house. So
right. That's great.
Right. Well, thank you for everyone for joining us tonight. We've had a good number of folks, it looks like, watching. Thank you again to the Chamberlain families for always interacting.
Yes, thank you.
Lots of great tips and tricks there. And again, if you do not already subscribe, be sure to select the subscribe button on the Wizarding Wands and Mickey Ears YouTube channel. And then if you hit the bell icon, then you'll be notified anytime that we go live or post new content. I've got stuff planned for this week, next week, hopefully, plenty of other videos after the cruise as well. And then, of course, Wizarding Wands and Mickey Ears on Facebook. We've got a page and a group, but the group is where we tend to post the most. And then Instagram, TikTok, you name it, we'll be around. So thanks so much for joining us. And until next time.